Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install the NVIDIA CUDA toolkit on Linux CentOS 7 so that you can use GPU acceleration in your Linux environment. So for this you are going to need Linux CentOS, we're running version 7, and then you are also going to need a NVIDIA graphics card that is capable of running CUDA. So we're going to go to this page right here, which is developer.nvidia.com/CUDA-downloads. And this will take us to the downloads page for the latest version of the CUDA toolkit, which is 10.1. If you need legacy releases, you can just go right over here, and that will allow you to get, like, say, CUDA 9.2, CUDA 9.1 if your environment needs that. But for now, we're just going to click on Linux, and then x86_64, CentOS, version 7, and then we're going to go with a local RPM file install for this one. And you're going to just click on download right here to download that file. That's a large file, so I've already gone ahead and download it. But once you have it, you're going to want to CD into whatever file you have that in. In my case, I have it in downloads, and you can see that there. And then we're going to want to put in the commands that are shown right here. So we're going to go sudo rpm -i CUDA and hit tab to autocomplete. And this will take a second to run, but this is just adding the file to the local environment so that we can use yum to install it. So we'll just give that a second to work. So now you can see that has worked, and it's just brought us right back to this right here. So we're going to go do the next command, which is sudo yum clean all. When you're doing these sudo commands, this will probably prompt you for your password, but I've already put in my password in another command, so it's not necessary for me to put it in again. So you can see clean all runs really quickly. And from here, we are actually going to want to hit reboot to reboot the computer. And we're doing this because in order to install the NVIDIA drivers that we need, we actually need to be running in a displayless mode, like just from a terminal. So it's going to bring you to this page right here. You might have to, click like F12 or something like that on your keyboard, depending upon what your computer is, to get it to open to this menu. But we are just going to select the top distribution here, whatever version you're trying to install this on. We're going to hit E, and this will take you into the boot menu. And from here, you are going to want to find the line that has Linux written in front of it. And at the end of this line, we are just going to append 3, which will boot us into a text-only mode. And then just hit Control-X to start that up. And this will start the computer, or this will start the Linux installation. And we will just give that a second to actually boot up. Like I said, this will just take us into an environment where all we have is the terminal without any kind of display, which is necessary because the display drivers can't be installed while we have a graphical interface running. So it's going to prompt you for your login information. So just go, effort login, put in your password. Of course, you'll use your username for localhost. And now we're back in our standard home directory. So from here, we're going to need to install a couple packages. So we're going to need to go sudo yum install EPEL release, and it's going to prompt you for your password again. And we'll give that a second, and I'll show you what that's going to pull up. We need this so that it can install some of the different packages that CUDA needs. And so as you can see, this might take a second here. So as you can see here in just a second, it has downloaded this stuff and is now prompting you whether or not you want to install EPEL release. We are going to hit yes, and to give that just a second to work. And then we've got a couple other things that we have to install after that before we can actually install CUDA. So the next thing you're going to need is sudo yum install kernel devel, which will give us a certain set of tools that we also need in order to install CUDA. And this right here, just hit yes again to that when it prompts you, and then give that a second to download. It'll run a few tests before it does it, and then it will go ahead and install that really quickly. And then after this, our environment is going to be ready to actually do the CUDA install. So now you can see we've installed that. And so we are going to do sudo yum install CUDA. And this will not work normally because it can't find CUDA as a package. But because we went ahead and installed CUDA earlier through that RPM command, we can just click that. And what it's going to do is it will find those files that we added to it and all the dependencies, and it will prompt us to install this large file. We will hit yes, and that will take a little while to install, so just sit tight. There'll be a lot of stuff that'll probably scroll along, and we'll just give that a second to install, and I will pause this. So this is now completed, and all of the different drivers and such that you will need are installed. Like I said, this will print out a lot of stuff as it goes ahead and downloads some of the dependencies that it needs and installs them. And from here, all you have to do in order to use it is just hit reboot again, and then just boot it into normal mode, because now that we have the driver installed, it will work just fine. And then once it brings us back to the desktop here, we can hit console. And from here, the CUDA toolkit samples are in CD/. So this is just our standard directory here. So CD USR, CD local, and from here you're going to want CD CUDA, and this will take you into the actual CUDA files. So you're going to go CD samples, and then all of these in here are different samples that we can go ahead and use for testing and stuff like that. So for example, if we go CD2, that will take us into graphics. And so for example, all of these are different types of simulations that you can do. So if we go into say finance, we can also see that we have different like Monte Carlo simulations and stuff like that that we can use for different purposes. So, and that is it. Congratulations, you now have the CUDA toolkit installed on your system, and you can use it to accelerate your programs. So I hope this was helpful, and have a great day.